This is another episode of Let's Get Social. Today I have with me Christine Strain from Marquee Realty Advisors.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Christine has a background in interior design. I know Christine when she was staging all of Terry Shaw's listings.
Yep.
That's how I got to know you, and I'm so happy that I did.
I'm happy I met you as well.
Thanks. You know, the reason I wanted to have you in was because, you know, it's so important. People don't realize the importance of just staging your home before you list it, right? Or even, like you said, organizing it and decluttering it. So
Yeah.
what do you recommend?
Well, for me, I like to go in and meet with the client ahead of time instead of just go in and start doing. I like to go in and sort of get a feel for their personality. I like to go in and let them know what I would suggest they start by doing before I even get there to work. So I like to say, okay, let's take down all personal photos. I would also suggest possibly painting some areas. We get wear and tear in the home over the time, so I would suggest paint colors, have them paint, and if they can't paint, I would organize a painter. I would organize streamlining the room, so taking out heavy pieces of furniture and just simplifying the room a lot. People tend to have a lot on their mantles.
Yeah.
Tchotchka. I don't do the tchotchka. Like, let's just get it out of there. So tchotchka gone. And countertops, cleaning off the countertops.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
You know, we tend to like have our toasters on there
everything.
and your coffee maker.
I will say, I don't like, a lot of people like nothing on the counter. That's not really realistic, and it doesn't give sort of character to the room.
Right.
Even though it's just the kitchen, it's the countertop. I like to have some things on the counter. So if the toaster is a nice toaster, there's some pretty snazzy toasters out
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
If it's a really nice toaster, one of those colorful retro toasters, you leave it on. If not, under. If it's a nice coffee maker, leave that. Add in some fake plants, maybe one or two, and maybe a couple wine bottles. And some glasses. But other than that, yes, streamline. Nothing on the fridge, no magnets, no kids' calendars.
Right.
Nothing at all. Dog bowls, cat food, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Gonzo. Garbage cans under the sink, and if they're ones that stand beside the counter, remove that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Make sure all bedding looks nice as well. So kids' rooms, I don't like to disrupt a lot because moving is a big thing. And so for kids' rooms, I don't really like to disturb their space too much.
It's funny that you said that because that's something I would have never even thought about, you know?
I like to leave the kids' spaces as their spaces.
Yeah.
So I might suggest a few things, but
so if they have like a bright blue, like my daughter has a pretty vibrant blue in her room, and I'm like, you know, she loves it though.
Yeah.
Right? So would you leave that?
Depending on the age of the kid.
Okay.
So if it's little kids, leave it because they'll get, I'm not going to use the word traumatized, that's ridiculous, but they'll get upset because everything is changing around them, and then you're going and changing their room and their space.
Okay.
So if it's, say, someone who's 19 or 20 years old and they're sort of over the vibrant blue, I'd say, okay, let's work together and pick a color that you would like.
Okay.
And how old's your daughter?
She's 19.
So she's 19.
Yeah.
So if I sat down with her and said, okay, these are a whole whack of colors, what appeals to you? She would say, blah, 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 like a gray blue or something like that. I would suggest painting the room if she's okay with it.
Okay.
Because then she's almost getting like a remodel of her room.
Yeah.
And it's updating it to suit her age.
Right.
Plus, it's benefiting you because it looks appealing when people
Well, that's the thing. I hate it right now. I walk in there because she has the Paris theme room.
Yeah.
You know, like the comforter has the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And it's the cream with black and taupes. And then she has this blue this blue
Does she
bowl.
want to change it?
And I want to change it. And she's okay, but she's not opposed to it.
She just doesn't care.
She just doesn't care. And I look at it, I'm like, okay, you've had this blue since you were like 8. Let's
just get that done.
So you go to the paint store, and for me, it's like so overwhelming because I look at like, say, the grays or the taupes, and it looks different in the store. And then I bring it home, and it has like a different undertone. It picks up like...
Yeah, colors will seem one way in the paint store, and also the lighting in there is terrible for choosing colors. So you want to go in and you want to choose a color in your space when it's not too sunny of a day, kind of a cloudy day like today would be a perfect day to choose color.
Oh, okay.
And then if you're overwhelmed when you go in there, what the heck do I choose?
Yeah.
I would Google like top 10, forecast colors for 2023 for Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams, whatever you're using.
Okay,
which,
yeah.
by the way, I like those too.
Yeah.
They're good paints.
Okay.
And then take that with you to base on what the top 10 neutrals are, and that will just really make your choice easier.
Okay.
If you kind of just say to yourself, these are my 10 colors to choose from, you can narrow it down pretty quick. There's too many shades and different little tints.
Yeah.
Most of the time it doesn't matter. Those little like, if I choose this one or the second one down, am I going to notice that difference? Probably not.
No.
So just research what the most popular colors are in the tones that you want and choose one.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Or I'll come over.
There you go.
We'll have a glass of wine.
Yes.
I'll bring it and we're going to choose.
Yes. Hey, that works for me.
Anything for wine.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. I love it. So what colors do you recommend to make a smaller space appear larger?
Depending on what else is in the room is really what is going to make a space feel smaller.
Okay.
So if you have heavy furniture, dark, heavy colored furniture, dark floors, you've got wood-stained trim, heavy draperies.
Yeah.
Your room can still feel small even if you paint it a little bit of a lighter color.
Oh, okay.
So I would recommend taking a look at the whole entire picture. So if we went into a room and it had all those things that I just named, I would suggest making sure you paint all of your casings and your baseboards like a nice bright white color.
Yeah.
I would maybe throw a lighter colored area rug over top of the dark, deep colored hardwood floor, maybe something with a little bit of design in it. And then I would throw some lighter throw pillows on the couch.
Those make a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't realize.
All the little things that don't have to cost a ton of money.
No, and that's the thing.
It doesn't have to cost thousands of dollars. You can do it very economically, which is my favorite thing.
Yeah, and that's why people need people like you, because you can go into a room and right away, something that's inexpensive that's going to make a change in that room dramatically, right?
Huge.
Yeah.
So we had a listing recently in Ancaster.
Okay.
And we went into this home and they were doing a great job at they'd been there for over 10 years. So we all accumulate stuff for over a long period of time. And we were discussing things for a few months, getting them to declutter and streamline. And I had made a suggestion that they had a problem with their stipple ceiling.
Okay.
And they got it fixed, no big deal. But stipple ceiling is really hard to fix without scraping it and redoing it.
Right.
So you could still tell, even though the problem was fixed, that when they
So you mean the popcorn ceiling, right?
Yeah, well, it was kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he had painted it, but the paint was brighter than what was there. So it stuck out like a sore thumb.
Right.
So what I suggested to them was they had maybe like a bluey, really light bluey gray wall. So I suggested a color for the wall. And then I said, why don't you paint the ceiling like a charcoal with a little bit of a mauve undertone? And he looked at me like I was crazy.
Oh, yeah, because I'm looking at you like you're crazy.
He's like, what? I go, can you just trust me? So I said, the color in your bath, you had a beautiful color in the bathroom, the powder room. So I said, something like this color, paint the ceiling the dark, and you're not going to notice that eyesore.
Yeah.
Anyway, he did. They had pot lights. They freshened up the walls. I had them take out 3 pieces of furniture in that room because they weren't being utilized properly anyway. So stuff was on them, or the cat was sitting on it. There was heavy bookshelves. So after all of that, we deleted a whole bunch of items, and he called me, and then he said, I sent you a text, and he sent me a picture. He did it. He
Oh, wow. He did. Okay.
They were the best clients.
Don't you love
ever.
people like that?
Oh, they're so amazing. Okay, no problem. And they did everything. And he couldn't believe how much he loved it.
Wow.
He was like, I wish I had done this a long time ago.
Right.
What a difference.
Yeah.
So just those simple changes, and I rearranged how the room was set up.
Well, that's the biggest thing. I find for me, like just knowing where to place the furniture, especially in odd shaped rooms. Like my living room is very long and
Narrow.
and narrow. And then I have an opening at one end and an opening on another and an opening. So it's kind of weird where to place your furniture. Then I have 2 windows on the side. So it's like, do you put the couch here and another couch here? But then are the couches supposed to be like lined up? Like if I have a sofa, there's the love seat shorter, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, do I put the arm so it lines up on one side and then it looks weird? Then I stuck the tables, but I found it so challenging as to how to properly, place furniture in a room.
And I think people think if there's not a wall to put things on, that you can't do it.
But that's the thing.
But what you want to do is create conversation areas in a room. So you've got this narrow, long room. Say you had, I've not been to your home, but I will because we're going to drink wine and choose paint colors for your bedroom. So say your living room has, a fireplace mantle or something in there.
Yeah.
And that's where you want your guests to congregate when they come over and you're entertaining. I would have like 2 accent chairs or a love seat on one side, a coffee table in front, and then a couch or whatever you have for furniture on the other side, making a conversation area around the fireplace instead of trying to put everything like against a wall. You know what I mean?
So what about like a coffee table? If you're in a long, narrow room,
use a circle coffee table.
Really?
Yeah. Soften that sort of straight line, narrow feeling by adding in a round coffee table.
See, and I'm thinking, it's got to be a long, narrow rectangle, right?
No, just, simple. You can also do like a nice 36-inch round puffy ottoman with like a big tray on top.
Right.
Just kind of jazz it up a little bit.
See, I need you.
I'll come over.
I'm going to send you a text with a picture of a wine. Say, come over.
I'll come over. Absolutely.
Make it a girls' night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when people are listing their homes, you're all about how much value does it bring to have someone come in there and basically, swap out their furniture or incorporate some of their own and then adding, additional pieces, right? Like, does it make that much of a difference?
So in some cases not. I think it's a case by case thing. Renting furniture and emptying a home and, putting new stuff in it is great. But not all houses need it. And in this market, I think this is just me speaking from what I'm doing. I'm not speaking, obviously, for a real estate agent. But for me,
for sure.
I would go into someone's house and I would assess what I can use and what they have. That's what I've always been about. I bring in some pieces, but I really love the challenge of being creative and utilizing what they already have and making them realize that this piece would go in that bedroom beside that bed, and this chair you have in this living room should go in your dining room beside this bay window with this lovely side table you have that was in the basement underneath 5 boxes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That is the challenge that I like, and that's what I want to focus on, is getting into a client's house and letting them know that, listen, we don't have to empty your house and rent a bunch of furniture. Let's take a look at what you've got. And people need help. Moving's overwhelming.
For sure.
So the first thing first is I want to go in there and I want to discuss with them, let's de-stream, let's get all the personal stuff out of here, and let's figure out how to make this space work for you while your house is on the market. Because things aren't on the market for 3 days.
No, not now.
Right? So they have to live there, and what's realistic.
Yeah.
And then I'm giving them ideas for their next home. You know, we have gotten rid of all this stuff. Like I say, do you need it? You know, when's the last time you've used this? And we really pack stuff up. Donating feels so good.
It does.
You know, and it doesn't mean you can go to a shelter and donate a bunch of clothes you don't need. Like there are tons of things, you know, women that need to sort of start off on their own. You can donate sheets, you can donate lamps, like people that actually really need it, and it feels really good. Yeah. So when you can help people through that process as well, like we're not throwing it away, we're donating it to someone in need.
I love it.
That makes everybody feel good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's like we're redoing our bathroom right now, and I had to clean out my vanity, and the amount of stuff that I was able to cram in there is, honest to God, absurd. I'm like, oh my God, why do I have this?
Why?
You know, and you know how good it felt to get a garbage bag and just throw?
Yeah.
Like
half the stuff's probably expired.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I have like body lotion from like 1999.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's a little exaggerating, but I'm
I
like,
know what you mean.
Why do I have this? And just cleaning out the vanity, bringing it back to it's like original, you know? So even then, I'm like, then I look in my bedroom, I'm like, oh my God, now I've started something.
Why do you want to keep going? It's addicting.
I want to keep going for sure,
yes.
Right? Because like I find that they always say your bedroom should be your sanctuary. It should be your calming place at the end of the day. And you know, I look around my bedroom, I'm like, oh my God, I have piles of stuff here, piles of stuff here, piles of stuff. And I'm like, what is all this? This causes anxiety, right?
It does, absolutely. You feel so much better when your space is just organized, everything has a place, and the stuff that didn't have a place is gone.
Yeah.
And you just, it
so
feels great.
When talking about like bedroom furniture, is there a type of rule, like does the bed have to be under a window? Like is it supposed to be when you walk into the room, you see the bed facing you? Like, is that an old, like...
No.
Or is it just...
I think it's just where it should go. Like, there's no set space.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to get into feng shui and all that, sure. But
right.
I think when you walk into a bedroom, there's probably just 1 or 2 spots where it's going to go.
Yeah.
I know in my bedroom, there's only 1 spot where it can go because it's probably the world's smallest master bedroom, but there's only 1 spot for it, and it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right? Because like even in my bedroom, we have 1 window, but it's kind of off. It's not centered. Yeah, so it's like here, and then I have this whole long wall that's empty.
Where's your bed?
And I have it, so on this wall is the window. I would have it on this wall here, right? Because then we have a vent on the floor, so my husband doesn't like to cover the vent. So it's so awkward, and if I try to put the bed under there, it doesn't fit directly under the window. It's so weird.
Oh, I got to come over there.
I know, you know, and...
We should do like a podcast of what we do in your house.
Oh, that would be good.
Eh?
Before and after.
Yes, let's do it.
While we drink.
Yeah. Jamie's going, yes.
Jamie's like, am I included in that?
Yeah. Obviously.
You know? Yeah, and I don't know. I know what I like and what I don't like,
That's half the battles. A lot of people can't visualize. They don't know, and they don't know what they like. Once you start questioning them and pulling them out of their shell, they do know, but they're just not confident enough to say.
Right. Plus my furniture, it's, I've had it for like 20 years.
So are we going to go shopping
So
too?
it's like a bulky. It's right?
Do you love it still?
No, I don't love it.
Well, let's go get new furniture.
But I look at it like, oh God, it's solid wood. You can't get good furniture like this anymore. It's all that, what is it called?
Laminate?
Yeah, kind of like that. MDF, whatever. This is like solid wood, right? I'm like, okay, can I sand it down? Can I repaint it? Bring it back to, I have all these thoughts in my head, but it's like they're just in my head.
But sometimes, like, maybe you like the bed, and then you like the headboard, but not the footboard. So you only use the headboard.
Yeah.
And then you don't like the nightstands because then it makes it too heavy. Well, let's keep the bed, get rid of the nightstands, and get you new nightstands. Would that have, a marble top with like gold legs?
That's the thing. I find it very heavy. That's the word right there.
We can split it up. It doesn't have to be this whole big purchase of 5 new pieces in your bedroom.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can paint it as well, but I bet you we could make it work by just a couple nightstands, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes what I do too is if someone has a high boy dresser and they've got a walk-in closet, sometimes one of those 3 walls in the closet, I'll put the high boy in there and have, like shoe rack things hanging on the closet hanger, the rod.
Yeah.
And then put a couple things on top of the high boy. And then you've opened up your bedroom to have a whole bunch more space, just to make it feel a little more airier if it's crowded.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do.
I know. It's like, it really is. And I know it also depends on the type of home you have.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're in, there's a lot of homes in Hamilton downtown that are like 100 years old, right? And they got a lot of character.
They do, and they have a lot of character when they don't have a lot of space, and there's no storage.
Right.
Most of those houses didn't have closets back then.
So
and
what
if
do you
they
do?
did, they were like 2 by 2.
Yeah.
So you really have to get creative in those type of scenarios. You're really depleting, just crap out of your life that you don't need.
Yeah.
And then if there's no closet in a bedroom, you can put an armoire in there,
Oh, as a closet.
Yeah. You can maybe do a side-by-side tall dresser instead of one long dresser. So you get like an extra 2 drawers.
Okay.
So you could go side-by-side, and have everything in there. There's lots you can do.
I know. It's like I could talk hours about like stuff like this because I love it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I love watching those shows on HGTV where they show like the befores and afters, and it's like, I just love that. Like,
well, it inspires you.
It totally
and that's
does.
what it's meant to do, inspire you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does. It makes you love your home again, right? It's like I was watching one show and they redid her home, and she could not believe the transformation. She didn't end up wanting to sell it.
Was it like Love It or List It or something?
Yeah, it was like a show like that, right? And she's like, oh my God, I actually like love my home again.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not good if you're planning on selling it, but how much value does it add when you change? Like I know they say kitchens and bathrooms add so much value, right?
They do, but not everybody has that kind of budget. It is true. Like,
like I don't want to spend $60,000 on a new kitchen.
You don't need to. You can definitely do. IKEA kitchens are amazing, and they are a fraction of the price of a custom kitchen. Like they are unbelievable. I always suggest them.
Really?
My friend just did her kitchen, and she needed some construction work, so like a general contractor was brought in.
Yeah.
The guy that I always recommend for IKEA kitchens, Joe from Stillwater Designs, he did her kitchen. So he came up with the plan. He used the IKEA cabinets, the boxes, and I don't know the end price, but because they had pot lights to put in and stuff like that.
Right.
But removal disposal, like I think you're in and around the $20,000
Wow.
mark, and that's everything.
That's amazing.
And that's because the cabinetry isn't insane. I mean, a box is a box. What I mean by that is, what the drawer goes into.
Yeah.
The door is what really shows. The box is the same as the box from the other guy that's going to cost you $50,000.
Right.
I mean, maybe you make it out of maple, but why? It's just a white box.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? IKEA is great.
I'm all about.
And there's lots of places that do custom kitchens that don't cost $60,000, but yeah.
No, but I'm all about, how can we save money
Yes.
to make your house look like it's $1 million home, like
Yeah.
in your eyes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And especially now with like interest rates rising, a lot of people are having, a lot of debts because of that. The market, last year compared to what it was this year,
Oh, it's crazy.
it's crazy. Like homes were selling way over what they were supposed to be selling. And a lot of people are now, even debating, they're like, should I renovate or should I just stay and not sell and wait till the market goes up,
So what do you tell a client to do in that case?
So, I had a client last week call me, and she wanted to know, what the rates were. And she was like, what? Because remember, a lot of people right now are coming out of their 5-year term. And they were 5 years ago, were like in the 2%. And now when you tell them, well, you're like a 5.5, that's, a huge impact on their mortgage payment, right? So
yes, huge.
Yeah. So they're like, oh my God, now we're in a market where home prices have fallen by 20, even 25%. Should I renovate? And absolutely, right?
Yeah.
But
But now they're taking equity from their home to renovate.
Right.
But at a higher percent.
they are, right? But the thing is, if we're able to remove all the bad debts, like those high interest credit card debts, because a lot of the times their balances is not $500, $900. They're thousands.
Yes.
And when you get to a certain level on a credit card at 21% interest, most likely you're only making whatever the minimum payment is. If it says, if your limit's $10,000, but the minimum payment is only $100, most people are just putting the $100, which is just barely just covering your interest, right? So, why not pay those out and then take a little bit extra and invest in your home?
Yeah.
Because that's
It is
an
an
investment.
investment. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not taking money and just going on a shopping spree, buying clothes that really, honestly, you're not going to have value.
No.
Or, going to get your hair done, going out to eat. Sure, they're making
Going
you
on a
feel
trip.
good,
Yeah.
buying tons of bottles of wine. Yeah, that makes you feel good in the moment, but long term, where's the value? At least when you're taking that extra money and you're investing it back into your home, then when the market is when it becomes a seller's market like it was at the beginning of this year, last year, now you have this updated kitchen, updated, bathroom, whatever, floors. Then you're gonna reap the rewards then, right?
Yeah.
So years ago, when someone's like, "Oh, we're gonna have someone stage your home," I was like, "Why? What's wrong with my stuff?" And I almost took it personally, like, "Well, I love my couch."
No, it's not. It's nothing to take personally. But someone comes in there with fresh eyes, and they are doing it often, so they know what the people who are going to walk through your house want to see. They want to be able to see themselves in your home, right?
Right.
So, say you had a floral couch.
Yeah.
People aren't going to relate to that. They almost need to walk into the home and relate to the house. Almost like, okay, I can see myself sitting around this living room conversation area with my girlfriends or the family doing board games at night. I can see us doing this. So the more appealing you make it to the people coming through, and that doesn't mean you have to go in and change everything, but just little things make a huge difference.
Okay. So curtains or no curtains?
Depends on the room. It's a good question. It's a very good question. No balloon curtains, no valances. I've taken down a ton of curtains.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And because they had nice blinds.
So those California shutter types.
Oh, yeah.
Never put curtains.
I wouldn't say never. Some people say never. But if they've got a nice set that anchors it nicely and it adds a little bit of texture to the room so it's not so flat, keep them.
Okay.
If not, out of here.
Carpet, hardwood.
I'm always a hardwood lover.
Okay. White cabinets, dark cabinets.
Depends on the space.
Granite.
I like white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Granite, quartz.
Quartz is great. Granite's fine, but it's busier. People like all that simple stuff now.
Okay. French doors, sliding.
I love a pocket door, but some spaces have a French door, but you don't really need it.
Right.
I find French doors are, I don't know, like going into a living room, you have a French door, which might make sense because you don't want people to actually go in there.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
If you have the room, sit in there.
Yeah.
So the French door, having French doors closed to me says, don't come in here and it's not inviting. So if you were to sell your house, say you had French doors, I would always say leave them open at all times.
Okay.
Never close those doors. Because people will not go in there. They'll be like, oh, I can't go in that room.
Yeah.
It's not welcoming.
Right.
Leave the door open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about an area rug?
Area rugs are great.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, your eyes lit up.
Because it's adding, like grounding the space in the, whatever room you're doing, but it's adding texture also and a little bit more personality to the room. So you've got hardwood floors and then you've got a coffee table on it. Well, how much nicer would that look with a little area rug underneath, the coffee table?
So what size, does it depend on the room? Like, because when you go into like these big box stores, majority of the time you're going to find a 5x7 rug, right? But can you put that, like, is the rug supposed to be under your sofa or is it supposed to be like in front? Is there a rule of thumb for that?
There probably is, but everyone's going to have a different rule of thumb. For a 5x7 rug, I like 5x7 rugs. I don't think it has to completely be an 8x10 almost covering wall to wall. Otherwise, just put carpet. Like if your room is 12 by 14, say your living room's 12 by 14, put a 6x9 in there. Like you only want it under the coffee table and maybe getting near the couch or the accent chair that's there. It's just to sort of
it doesn't matter.
A little bit of a hug to that.
So it doesn't matter if the wall's here and you have this much coming in, right?
Where it starts.
Where it starts.
No, I would prefer it. Like you want to see the hardwood still.
Okay.
The area rug is just to soften that little conversation area. It's not.
And what about under a dining room set?
I am not a fan.
Okay.
Well, gross. Like you're eating there. No.
I better remove mine before she comes over.
No. Like out of here.
Okay, that's out of here. There's my tip.
But people sometimes do that because their dining rooms also have carpet.
Yes.
Like so they have the carpet and then they have an area rug under the dining room table.
Okay.
Probably to be a catch-all for all of the crap that falls.
Right.
Because how gross would that look? And then the wear and tear of the carpet with heavy dining room table and a heavy dining room chairs going in and out when you've got company.
Yeah.
Like to me, I understand carpet. I did a place with Terry.
Yeah.
And I worked with the client one-on-one. It was a sale of his mom's house. She passed away, unfortunately. And it was, you walked in, there was your little 5x5 tiled area, and then the rest of it was carpet. But the carpet was worn. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even tacked down anymore. There was bumps in it. And I said, do you want to invest a little bit before it goes on the market? And he said, well, get me a quote. So I did. I sourced flooring. The painting, all that kind of stuff, that one was staged because it was empty.
Okay.
So we did a light staging in there. And no carpet except in the 2 bedrooms.
Okay.
So the reason why I did that, new carpet in the 2 bedrooms, was because of the market. So the market, the people are going to come in to that place are going to be seniors. They love carpet in their bedrooms.
Yeah.
So you have to cater to what that clientele is going to want.
Okay.
And because it's elderly people going in there, most of the time, they're going to want carpet.
Okay, that's good to know. So any final tips to,
I don't think any tips, but just sort of recapping on what we discussed.
Yeah.
I would just say try to get rid of anything that you actually don't use anymore. All of those boxes that have stuff in it that, I might use that one day.
Yeah.
If you haven't gotten it out in the last 6 months, you're probably not going to use it.
Yeah.
Make sure that you get rid of all the personal stuff. Clean off the counters, the fridge fronts, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Make sure that you touch up all your paint areas if you have paint left over. It just looks nicer.
Yeah.
Touch up baseboards.
Looks cleaner.
And get someone in there to give the house a good scrub down. Windows, the sills, the shower tile. Bleach is a great invention. When you walk into a house, you don't want to smell animals or
No, that
staleness.
turned me off. I went to look at a house with Terry,
Yeah.
and honest to God, I could not wait to get out of there. I didn't even look at the house.
It turns you off.
It turned
in your
me
mind.
right off.
Sense is a
Yeah.
big thing.
Yeah.
And most people, if they don't have a sensitivity, some people with allergies and stuff, but
Yeah.
I always recommend making sure you get that deep clean and vanilla candles.
Yeah, the cinnamon.
Oh, like at Christmas time.
Oh, I love it.
Or bake something before you have an open house. People come in and their senses are on overload and it makes them happy. And then they're
Yeah.
looking through your house and they're saying, oh, this is nice. It's cozy in here. People love a cozy house, right? So.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Christine.
Thanks for having me.
This was so much fun.
It was
I've
great.
learned so much.
So I expect a text later today, and we're going to reorganize Dee's living room. We're going to take before and afters.
Yes.
Jamie's going to come along for the ride. We're going to offer him beverages, charcuterie.
Yes.
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 Right?
I love it.
Let's have the girls over. Gosh.
Yeah.
Vito can be there, and they can.
I know. Vito's like, we're doing what?
Yeah. It's okay. You and Jamie just drink. No problem.
No, this was awesome. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
so for having me. It was
No,
great.
and we will, I'm sure you'll come back again for sure.
Sure, yes. We'll do a recap of your house.
Yes.
Seriously, this is going to be Let's Get Social at Dee's house.
Ooh, I love it. Let's get social at Dee's house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Christine.